I agree. Hey, we love you. Have a great day.
Is a paid programming and KHMC Magic Money File assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for
We
their
talk hockey.
appearances and guests on their show.
Governor Cuomo resigns, but not for another couple of weeks. Governor Abbott has the ability to arrest the Dems who have gone AWOL. Tony Esposito passes. The world is looking for the U.S. to save them from COVID. All that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
Or is it this?
Slap bass.
Is it? In your world? I have a little
This isn't jazzy enough.
right. Or yachtish.
Oh, no, it's yachtish. With a feathered haircut. Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you,
How
sir.
are you today?
Good.
Good?
Oh, and you know what? Hang on. I'm going to fix something.
What? Oh. I don't know what he's
I
fixing.
heard it.
Something.
I heard it.
Fixing something. Fixing something. But we'll get it fixed. In the meantime, we'll do this. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the fine folks at Deerlam Feed. For everything you need, it's Deerlam Feed. 78 going up to a high of 94 today. Heat advisory in effect, slight chance of rain later on this afternoon into the evening and overnight. So
Kind of just like yesterday.
yeah, but that overnight chance of rain kicks into a 4 out of 10 chance tomorrow and Friday. So just to prepare for your weekend with a little bit more of a chance of rain and some scattered thunder showers.
I want to go down a random rabbit trail with you right quick. What I did is I went and I adjusted the volume on the photography device. I want to make certain that if the volume sounds terrible somehow, let me know, and I will go and try to adjust that again. I'm hearing more and more like just rampant bombardment of you've got to follow the science, doomsday predictions regarding the climate, the globe. That I saw a deal the other day that said scientists believe that the jet stream could be disrupted. You know, the jet streams have moved El Nino, whatever it is, for years.
Yep.
But they're saying that the jet stream could be eliminated, obstructed, and that it would affect, basically it would just turn all of it, everybody but the U.S., literally. Almost everybody but the United States was greatly affected. It was like Western Europe could go from having all the rain they always have to none. And it went on and on and on about all the doomsday stuff that could happen. This is stuff that could happen.
Western Europe's going to turn into California?
Well, and then I wonder how much. I don't have any doubt that the earth is in constant change and evolvement. I mean, I'm not evolution like you're thinking with animals and stuff, but it's constantly changing. It's fluid. It's the earth. But I wonder what your gut feeling is. I've always thought man was very arrogant to believe that he could affect the earth for very long. You know, when we had you see, Ash, and was it loud or?
It wasn't plugged in.
Okay. Hopefully that's better. Hopefully, can somebody let me know if you can hear us okay now?
Should be good now.
So my concern is how much, they said that after during the lockdown that we had, that like in 2 weeks, the air quality in LA went back to like perfection. Anyway, we've lost that train of thought, so I'm going to give up on it. Good morning, T-Lat. I've got a couple of T-Lat things for you folks I'm going to share this morning. Back when Dawn and I were just dating and I was trying to be, that guy.
Yep.
I took Rylan down to Riverside and he's, at the time he's like 4 and we're standing in the snack bar line and I'm like, get anything you want, because I was trying to be that guy. Now I'm like, no, you can't have Skittles. And the lady behind the counter said, you never say to a woman that's a little portly, well, are you eating for 2? Are you pregnant? You're just going to upset her, even if she is pregnant. The lady goes, hi, Grandpa, bring you out to the ballpark? I'm like, Yeah, that's my grandpa. I was like, shut up, lady. Get the kid a hot dog. So we always thought that was funny. Don thought that was funny. Well, this last 2 weeks ago, we were in New Braunfels, and Rylan was out running around and comes up and says something to his mother. And I guess because of her proximity to me, as he walks off, the waitress says, "Is that your grandson?" To Dawn. Beautiful. I loved that.
She said that to Dawn?
I said it to Dawn.
Ouch.
But I'll give you an idea.
Did Dawn roundhouse her? And
no, she just looked at me like, she's like, I guess I got a little too much platinum in my hair. But a couple of quick asides for Dawn. The other night we were.
You've aged Dawn, is what basically the lady said.
But the key part of this is that we were laying in bed having this conversation. And I felt like messing with her, and I just kind of pulled the covers up over her head. She goes, Don't cover my face. I said, you don't like water on your face. You don't like water on, you don't like me messing with your hair. I said, you sure have a long list of don'ts. And she rolled over, looked at me and said, and you sure have a short list of do's. Wow. Paid a price for that. How ironic that we're laying in bed having this conversation. But to let you know how.
Let me guess, her next don't that night was don't touch me.
Exactly. Today's sign that you know that Dawn is so much younger than me is we were at Veracruz and I had the Wade & Carter Compuesta, and I only had one. I used to get two and rice and beans, and I just had one Compuesta, and that was it. And I said, yep. I said, you've turned me into a Luann Platter kind of guy.
And let me
She
guess.
looked at me and said, who's Luann? No kidding.
Doesn't have a clue.
No clue who Luann was.
Well, let me guess. You took her for lunch, but you were basically eating dinner.
Right. I got the senior discount. Adam Sugar says, Brent, we both have kids going into the 4th grade, Papa. Thanks, Adam.
Difference is Adam's not even 40.
Right? Not better looking.
Debatable.
That's right. Love Adam. Do your roll call, big dog.
Well, let's start with Adam Sugar, BJ Nelson, Natalie Mayer is in, James Kurthe, Sheriff Louderback, good morning, Chris Conrad, Lisa Poole, Rena Scherer, Stuart Martin, Amanda Bloschke.
Saw Amanda last night.
Ricky King.
Birthday.
David Glass, Junior Samples, David Glass.
Fix the sound.
There's Don Nicole. Yeah, that's all done. I'm going up. So, we're good. Yeah. Don't have to worry about anything.
Ricky Champagne,
good morning. BJ Nelson, Lorena Bargenbrook, good morning. The Iceman is in.
Iceman, growing his brand.
Yep, good for him. Clint Ives, Karen Webb, Jennifer Rayburn, John Paul Hall, good morning.
Hi, JP.
Bobby Leister in the Leisterometer, holding steady at 1,004. Tracy Price, Patrick Strauss, Rob Moore-Knipling, Diane Tippett. Good group this morning.
Happy first day of school to the industrial kids. I think
Claro's in, nursery's in. Yep.
Yeah.
So, I always hated this day of the year, this week of the year when school began. I don't know why.
Wait a minute. You may be better looking, but I'm way better looking than you were pre-dawn. I don't know. Pre-dawn. Okay, I'm with you, Adam. You're right. Yeah.
Scott Snow's in.
Trinity starts school in like a month, JP said it.
Yeah.
They all have a yacht party to start school.
Jim Simpson, good morning. So, jump off with Andrew Cuomo, the governor.
What is this guy?
I'm going to step aside in 2 weeks.
Right. There's a young secretary down on the 3rd floor. I want to meet first.
Yeah. I might as well get all the groping in on my way out while I can, right?
I'm going to tell you that.
What more can they do for me? They're going to impeach me. They're already accused me of things. I might as well just go off the rails because my political career is done.
Half of this I believe, half of it I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. It's too easy to demonize somebody and just picture this guy as this random groper showing up in house
apparently
slippers.
He was with some pretty credible witnesses.
Well, there you go. Who are you
going to believe? State Trooper or Andrew Cuomo?
Legit point. Tell you what, if he groped H.R. Mallory, he might catch a taser.
So,
But I think the guy, it's funny how the Dems eat their own because a year and a half ago, Andrew Cuomo dominating the political scene because what's his name? The mayor, de Blasio, was such an idiot.
Think about some of the commentary. When everybody was on the dais running for president-elect nominee, right? December of 19, January of 20, the media was lamenting how Andrew Cuomo wasn't up there, but could be, should be, might be running away with it had he been up there.
They straight up said that in the way he was dealing with New York, he was much more presidential than Donald Trump. I remember that. And all of a sudden,
turns out he's about as presidential as Bill Clinton was.
Right. And old people started dying. And then when the rumors started coming out, which is interesting, but when the rumors started coming out of all the stuff that he had allegedly done, then all of a sudden they turned on him and he's out.
Well, they put a pause on everything so he could sell his book and make money. Then they ramped it back up with all of this stuff. Don't forget, they hailed him as a hero of New York, even though his policies on a conservative estimate led to 15,000 people dying in old folks' homes in New York State.
Absolutely. Callie Fromme brings in it's kind of like the elephant in the room. You'll recall that the Democrats spent literally a day and a half discussing whether or not not Matt Kavanaugh, he was a quarterback. Brett Kavanaugh? Brett Kavanaugh tried to get to second base while at Yale or wherever he was in the 70s or 80s. And they had remember, every woman must be heard. Every woman must be believed. I'm every woman. Anyway, when it's all said and done, then along comes Mr. Biden, who said, which, by the way, I had no problem with that philosophy as long as it's good for the gander. Along comes Joe Biden and says, every woman must be heard except that woman who is lying about me. Now along comes Andrew Cuomo, and he says, oh, they're just, they're politicizing this. It's politically motivated. That's why I'm being run out of office. Politically motivated? Where are the pink vagina hats marching in Albany, New York on the state capitol demanding his resignation? Right. Nowhere to be found. Oh, but let's not forget one of the lead organizers of that group that organized the pink hats in Washington, D.C. in the march. Oh, just happened to try to discredit one of the women complaining against Andrew Cuomo, was working with the governor to basically shut her up and discredit her because every woman must be believed, right? Absolutely. Michelle Hawkins says Cuomo has ulterior motives. Do you think he's trying to resign to avoid any type of prosecution? Well, I think that's probably the 2 weeks and why he was giving himself a 2-week window. There's probably some negotiations going on. I hope the state trooper sticks to her guns and will not allow a settlement or his resignation to be the end of this all. You better hope that trooper doesn't die in a roadside call. True story. I'd put nothing past the New York governor to protect himself. Well, he is a New York governor. No. Christina Wise says, where is AOC? Yeah. It is interesting that, your usual suspects, Schumer, Pelosi, the ones you would expect to say something. But boy, there's a whole faction of the Democrat Party that has been awful quiet, and she's probably one of them. Have you heard anything? Have any of you heard anything regarding? Yeah, it does say that we're dead over here. You see this? The board's dead. Yeah, I can't fix that. I can't. I don't know what's. I hear us better. No. I don't know, folks. I'm sorry. I don't know what's up with the mic. I do see that the board is dead. Speak into the mic. Oh, I'm into the mic. Hello. Anyway, Have any of you heard anything about the possibility of Nancy Pelosi resigning? Because Dawn had this come across her board at multiple sources.
No, she's not resigning.
Okay.
She's got no reason to resign.
Well, she has numerous reasons to resign. She's just not on top of her game enough to know it.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's no reason for her to resign. There's millions and billions that she and her family are making off her position. She's not resigning.
Maybe that's my spot. There you go. That's a little better. I've got a dead spot on this microphone that I can't find. There you go.
Found it. You can't find the live spot.
Well,
so
in my next studio, I'll have my microphone in my studio, in my room.
David Glass says we can only hope that Pelosi will resign.
Only child in me will be exalted.
Matt Boucher checking in. Good morning to you. Amanda Smith King.
2 quick gloating moments right after the break, folks. Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com is your go-to for a new car. Whether you want a Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, a gently owned vehicle. I saw a black Challenger over on the lot today. Gorgeous car. They carry all different kinds of brands of gently pre-owned vehicles. But if you go by Atzenhofer on Navarro, right there on the Motor Mile, just down the road from Higher Prices, where they're stacking them, beating, selling them cheap, selling cars like candy bars. Cars that are only built on Tuesdays through Thursdays because they don't want them on Monday or the weekend. That's Atzenhofer, Victoria's dealer since 1926. White Trash Services, 550-1826. 1826! 550-1826. Reach out to BJ Nelson and her team for a roll-off dumpster for your next big project. If you need weekly or monthly trash service in the 7-county contiguous region.
If you're doing some site cleanup in Victoria City proper,
they'll help
you at White Trash Site Services.
They'll help you have a trash-tastic day. Razor
make
IT
you
Solutions.
Have a trash-tastic day. They won't help you. They
will force upon
you
a trash-tastic day. When the sound goes, you both go out.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what the deal is.
That was a board issue. That was legit. I don't know.
Yep, I don't know what that was. It was a blip. It's the government. The government came in here with a drone.
Talking about Cuomo, that's the problem.
Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team can help you with analytics, data, all types of encryption, collecting money, all that stuff that you go, yeah, and you have no idea what you're talking about. Reach out to Razor IT Solutions and let JP and his team.
You just sounded like that little dog.
Take care of you.
Or the weasel.
I'm hip. Remember that? What was that? Schmedley?
Yeah.
What were those guys called? They had cool music. It was the dogs. They were like detectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Augie Doggy?
I'm hip.
Yeah, I remember that.
The law offices of Stephen Kidder. Reach out to Steve Kidder for all your needs. Just say a general legal need. He's like a family practitioner as a doctor, as opposed to being a brain surgeon. He's a general surgeon.
Smart enough to be a brain surgeon.
Absolutely. He chose not to go to med school. Reach out to Steve Kidder for all your legal needs, probate, wills, trusts, set up
partnerships.
We didn't never do that. No, we're just 50-50.
Whatever he wants to do.
Although I'm thinking about some
within the law.
Some key man life on you. They should kick it. I can pay Caleb Shaw to come in here. Carter and Caleb.
Doesn't have the ring.
Caleb and Carter in the morning.
You're old. You're going first.
Right.
It's just the way the actuary tables work.
Wade and Caleb. It'd be a hit. People are out there going, yeah, I'm hip. That was from Flintstones too, remember?
Yep.
Complete 360, folks. The health bar over here about to really expand. If you haven't been to the health bar,
8 to 10 days out from some really exciting news that we'll have for you.
You owe it to yourself to be at the health bar for the waffle. I'm telling you, just go and go. Wade and Carter told me to get the waffle. And they're going to say, well, what kind of waffle do you want? I say, well, what do you got? They got pineapple, strawberry,
whatever waffle they have, get it. You'll enjoy it.
It's phenomenal.
A, it's a waffle. B, it's healthy.
It's a high protein.
It's healthy food disguised as something fun to eat.
A gluten-free waffle. Yes, it's cardboard with flavor. You'll like it. Plenty of fiber in that rig. Get by there and try out the health bar.
You'll be regular.
Okay, you will be regular. 2 things to gloat about. 2 dos itamas items. I don't know. I made that up.
I don't know.
First of all, Friday. In studio here with us, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, candidate for governor. All the tough questions coming in from Ash, like, how did you put together that ensemble?
Able to see him sweat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll sweat. He will sweat. If you, if you want to come by, the studio,
Might even have him for the entire hour.
Yeah, you can come by and hang out the studio for a while. Be kind of like the studio audience. We don't care. Come by.
We've got 2 chairs, so first 2 here.
Tower of Power. Yep. Peter McNally says, don't forget, elected by her peers. He's talking about AOC. What a bunch of idiots.
Pelosi here, I don't know.
What Pelosi's worse.
Yeah.
Pelosi and her family are everything that's wrong with the bourgeoisie. They are everything that's wrong with elitist government. Her and her family have dominated California for the last 60 years and through every means possible commandeered and held on to every shred of power they could get. They are the dirtiest of the dirty. They are worse than Stalin's people. Worse. Maybe without the deaths. Maybe. Terrible Americans, terrible human beings. I can't help that they were elected by their peers. That just shows how much people are sheep. Second item.
And I don't give many Republicans in Washington, D.C. a pass either. Because there's a lot of them just as dirty. And all you have to do is look at the BS that went on to pass this infrastructure bill.
Absolutely. 18 Republicans kind of jumped ship for a quick trillion. And
what, like 400 billion of it actually goes to, quote, infrastructure?
Yeah, the rest is going
numbers
to
are staggering, folks.
Special interest groups and special things that are being pulled to the side.
2,700 pages of BS in that thing.
Absolutely. Second thing, we're working on finalizing a date. We have the band. We have the venue. We have the decorator.
We need all of you.
We need all of you. There will be some sponsorship opportunities for the 5th year anniversary of Wade and Carter, the celebration party. They said it wouldn't last, Ash. They said it was bad radio. Remember that? It's bad radio. That bonehead that owns KBIC was like, lived in San Antonio, complete clown. We were blowing and going and growing on AM radio. Nobody listens to AM radio. Nobody. They were listening to us. Sorry, guys, today's your last day. Really?
Here we are.
We came and found Homer. Homer bought into the concept of what we were doing. I want to give a hats off to the great folks at Magic 95.9, Lilo and Homer and their team. We got here and they said,
"What's up with us?"
They said, "Look, folks, a couple of things for you. We know it has some problems, but do your best not to hammer the Catholic Church because we have a large Catholic listenership." I said, "Oh, but that's fine. We wouldn't do that. And try to go easy on that border wall because lots of people have family on the other side of that border wall." And I said, "Oh, we wouldn't do that either." And to their credit, to this day, Magic has never told us what to say or what not to say.
And we touched on both topics.
And they have been a wonderful community partner with the city of Victoria, helping you get news straight from the source. So an unlikely pairing. It's like dogs and cats playing together, but it has worked amazingly well. And it is uncanny what percentage of our radio audience is Hispanic, and they are great listeners and great friends to the show. So we couldn't be happier. Absolutely appreciate all y'all. But big party coming up. There's going to be a nominal charge to get in because we got to pay for the band and we got to pay for the venue. But other than that, it's not something we're going to make money off of. We're trying to get a grant.
Speaking of making money off of, curious to see how many of the Dems that fled Texas will put all of the costs of housing, the flight out of here, the meals paid for and provided and comped on their political expense reports.
They have to, right?
The state. Well, they should. Will they? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe one of our local compliance watchdogs can reach out.
Yeah. But the Texas Supreme Court has ruled that Governor Greg Abbott can arrest them. For
affirmative.
If they don't show up.
Yep.
That voided the lower court ruling that blocked the arrest of him. Curious to see if he will.
Interesting.
That'll be a good question for Lieutenant Colonel Alan West on Friday. If he was in that position, would he arrest them? I think Don Huffines has said that he would go after him.
You know, you just made me think about something. I find it interesting that the people that are against Greg Abbott, which I would have to say, you know, if you're going to stereotype them, would probably be Democrats. I find it interesting that the governor gets called Wheels. I find it interesting that he gets called Spaghetti Legs. I think it's interesting to me that a party that banters about talking about inclusion, the disenfranchised, that they would have negative, would mock a man who's in a wheelchair. Interesting. Very interesting to me. The hypocrisy of the left knows no bounds.
Well, they can call him that and nobody calls him out on it either.
Right.
You know.
Right. I can make fun of him being in a wheelchair because I voted for him.
Lisa Poole asked, didn't one of those Texas Democrats go to Portugal on taxpayer dollars?
I heard it was two of them, and I heard it was on a vacation. Now, whether that was taxpayer dollars, I don't know.
Shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be. It should just be, you know. But I will.
But I would argue if you're supposed to be in the legislative session and you go on vacation, special session's been called and you're flitting off to Portugal.
So politically speaking, let's follow the power. If Abbott arrests the Democrats, all it does is further divide him from Texas Democrats. But is the message that he's trying to send, as opposed to Alan West and Don Huffines, is his message, I'm tough. I'm Greg Abbott and I'm tough. I'm the Texas Hammer. Is that what he's trying to do? Is it when he says we won't be shutting down Texas? Is he doing that because the health models and the science say don't do it, or because he's saying, I'm not putting up with Joe Biden telling us what to do. We're Texas. And I'm running for governor.
Is the threat of arrest enough?
I don't know. Will they come back? Will they ever work together in the state? Could we put in a provision that says if you guys all leave, then the ones that are still here can create a quorum?
Probably need a constitutional amendment, and you need enough people in there to do it. So probably
yeah.
Not. Then it would have to be voted on, I believe, by the people too, right?
Yep. James Kurth, hope you're holding up with your daughter, driving back and forth to VC every day. Hope she's doing well, buddy.
Adam Sugar says he knows he messed up with the first lockdown.
Yeah, he did, and we're not going to have another one. I think you're going to see. I was reading a deal that Ash sent me. Believe it or not, I read it, and they're basically saying in the UK that, hey, we've done all we can do. There's nothing left to do. The masks don't work, and at the end of the day, we're going to have to manage.
This is a virologist at Oxford University who's been leaned on by the government as one of their experts to manage them through the pandemic.
He's saying that we're going to have to work towards that herd mentality, that herd immunity.
Yeah, let me find it real quick because it was
interesting. You find that. While he finds that, let me tell you real quick, folks. Model Mortgage, Terry Murray, 541-5454. Terry Murray can help you lower your house payment. No said. If she can't,
at a bare minimum.
If she can't, it costs you nothing. 541-5454. Went services for generators, solar panels, plumbing and electrical work, new construction, remodeling, commercial, residential,
industrial,
all of it. Unit extension cord, go from here to there, in conduit, underground. call Went Services. Do it. USA Concrete Coatings. I went by there yesterday. I was in Corpus. Elaine and Charlie were out working. Great folks there. You need somebody to come out.
Elaine was working on the slab. Charlie was tuning his guitar.
Working on his C flat. Get somebody to come out, fill the cracks in your garage floor, and then coat it with a tough polyurethane finish. Call USA Concrete Coatings. They will help you with your transformation.
Absolutely.
There you go.
So this is out of the Telegraph in the UK. The Delta variant has wrecked any chance of herd immunity, a panel of experts, including the head of the Oxford vaccine team, said as they called for an end to mass testing so Britain can start to live with the COVID. So what they basically said, I'll summarize a little bit. They basically said, we started talking COVID and live video gets interrupted. Imagine that.
Unbelievable, Facebook.
What they've said is mild cases, asymptomatic, which, I mean, you don't know if you have it if you're asymptomatic. But this is what they're saying in the UK, that basically we have to stop treating people who basically have a cold or mild flu-like symptoms and worry most about those who are more severe cases and manage them better, put our resources into them so that we don't end up with hospital overload and people in hospital beds on the streets, basically.
Nobody will ever have a cold again. Nobody will ever have the flu again. You won't hear anything about the flu bug this fall. It'll always be, it's the variant. It's the variant. COVID is the common cold. It's just in this case, it has more stressful effects on certain people.
Professor Andrew Pollard, who led the Oxford vaccine team, said it was clear that the Delta variant can affect people who have been vaccinated, which made herd immunity impossible to reach even with high vaccine uptake. We don't have anything that will stop transmission. So I think we're in a situation where herd immunity is not a possibility, and I suspect the virus will throw up a new variant that is even better at infecting vaccinated individuals. And my mind goes to, is the vaccine expediting the mutations that are leading to these variants?
Could be. Chris Conrad says the flu no longer exists. I agree. From now on, it's COVID.
And he says in the Telegraph, Public Health England has shown that when vaccinated people catch the virus, they have a similar viral load to unvaccinated individuals and may be just as infectious. So they're carrying the same amount of virus as somebody unvaccinated, and they're transmitting it just as easily as those who are vaccinated.
But it may lessen their effects, right? That's the idea, to keep the hospitals empty.
Yeah, it lessens your effects. And another expert in infectious diseases quoted in the Telegraph says that the obsession with cases needed to be abandoned. We need to start moving away from just reporting infections or just reporting positive cases admitted to hospital to actually start reporting the number of people who are ill because of COVID. Otherwise, we're going to be frightening ourselves with very high numbers that actually don't translate into disease burden. So what he's saying is cases are not a measure in and of itself. Those who get hospitalized and into ICUs is the measurement that really needs to be watched and tallied and tracked. The disease burden on the healthcare system. So
we'll see what happens. Adam Sugar says, drink water, eat healthy, exercise, go outside, swim in lakes and rivers. The 5-second rule still applies to drop foods you want to eat.
It absolutely does.
That is the COVID cure.
The food you don't want to eat, you just let it sit there.
I don't understand. I thought yesterday, of all the places, I mean, I'm touching this counter, and I'm,
Well, they've said surface to surface is pretty much not.
So are we just saying it's an airborne deal? You walk through a room.
That's what they're saying. And they still don't really even know.
They don't know. That's the truth. They don't know.
And now they're starting to admit that.
The guy that's a criminal in all this because he was so emphatic is Fauci. What's wrong with the experts saying, folks, this is uncharted territory. We're doing everything we can to understand it. As soon as we do, you'll be the very first to know. Why does it have to be? He's like Alexander Haig. I'm Dr. Fauci and I'm in charge. I know these things because I've worked with them.
Ego, hubris,
jail time.
All those Sigmund Freud words.
That guy's a criminal. He's a criminal. Ricky King says it's a man-made disease from China, and that would be considered biological warfare.
You know, Ricky, I'm going to take it a step further. Not would. It should be considered biological warfare.
It should be. I mean, if I asked you if another country contrived a disease and put it all over your country, are they at war with you?
I can answer that question for you. We funded some of the research. Whereas this country's as complicit as the Chinese, maybe not in releasing it, but certainly developing it. The Chinese Communist Party went a step further and walked that thing out of the lab.
Put it on airplanes, send it to our coast with malice.
Yep. But when you're spending millions of dollars on the research for this virus that originated in bats to help it make the leap into humans, the scientists differ on this, that this may have never, ever, ever naturally transmitted to humans.
I'm going to read something James Kurtz said and then have a follow-up. He says, Fauci and the CDC aren't in charge of anything. They were not elected and not part of the legislative branch of government. The other day I was visiting with Dawn and I said, where's the Constitution on this? Whatever the issue was we were discussing. Believe it or not, that we do talk about more than how beautiful she is. And I said, where's the Constitution on this issue, Dawn? And she looked at me and said, I fear that the Constitution just doesn't matter anymore.
The Constitution hasn't mattered in this country for a long time for the folks in Washington, D.C.
I think it's tragic. And I think that
both parties.
It's time. It's past time. It may be too late for the American patriot to stand up and say, we're not going to take it. I've joked with you before about what if we all just didn't file a tax return? Just as we so quickly either don't vote or we vote against VISD bonds, no doubt as a community, to send a message that we're not going to take it, maybe even to our own detriment. I mean, on the aside, VISD does need money. They do need to repair the schools, but they're paying the price
for past administrations
and for that tax grab. That tax grab finally broke the camel's back. Well, if these $1 trillion bailouts, of which you get $300 and your neighbor gets $300, but somewhere somebody's like winning the lottery, probably in downtown Detroit. If those things irk you enough to say, fine, I will stand in solidarity with my neighbors. I will not file a tax return. Let them come for all of us. Will they? Would they? Could they? Or would they have to address the fact that we're just not going to take it? I don't know.
19 GOP senators voted in favor of the $1 trillion infrastructure spending bill. It seems that Mike Rounds of South Dakota and Todd Young of Indiana finally came to their senses, even though they helped get it to where it needed to go to avoid the filibuster in the Senate. They actually voted against it. But here's the ones that helped pass the deal, folks. Roy Blunt of Missouri, Richard Burr of North Carolina, Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, Susan Collins of Maine, no surprise there. Kevin Kramer of North Dakota, that name surprised a few.
Kramer, son of Rex
Mike
Kramer.
Crapo of Indiana, or of Idaho, living up to his name. Deb Fisher of Nebraska, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina.
Surprising.
curious to see how much money Lindsey Graham State gets out
I
of
bet
this
you
thing.
he gets a bunch.
Chuck
Personally.
Grassley in Iowa. I mean, you look at some of these entrenched names that are part of the swamp that Donald Trump never got to drain, and now you know why. John Hoeven of North Dakota, Mitch McConnell, no surprise there. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, she's basically a Dem in wolf's clothing. Rob Portman of Ohio, James Risch of Idaho, Mitt Romney, no surprise there. Dan Sullivan of Alaska, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, Roger Wicker of Mississippi.
Why do they keep electing Mitt Romney? How can that fool continue to be in office?
Because he's in Ottawa, or he's in Utah. He's a member of the LDS community, and he's still widely regarded in the LDS, and he brings some spotlight to he's mainstream that religion.
Ugh.
And so they keep paying him back. But you look at the states that are involved. Small states, North Dakota, Alaska, which has had tons of graft.
Sure.
In exchange for not only this, but to opening up its wildlife reserves and offshore to oil drilling. Let's be honest. That was the payback for that. There's still more payback for Murkowski and the others to vote in favor of this.
Jeff Fonseca got the Twisted Sister reference. Arthur O'Brien, our buddy in Sacramento, says, "Hey, morning, guys. Our company is now bribing us $150 to get vaccinated. It's either that or wear a mask."
I read a story last night. You can buy a vaccine, counterfeit vaccine card on the internet for anywhere from $35 to $200.
Wow.
And apparently a lot of college kids who are going to schools that are mandating the vaccine have been partaking in these vaccine cards and presenting them to their campuses when they show up.
That's crazy. Amanda Smith King says she's now singing it in her head all day. We're not gonna take it. You know you like that song. No, we ain't gonna take it.
So I'll dig a little bit more between now and Friday's show because I want to get Alan West's take because he's a former congressman. But dig into some of the quote infrastructure spending that has nothing to do with infrastructure. And you watch, here's what's coming on the heels of this because the world is now calling on the US to lead the fight against the COVID variants and more vaccines. Why aren't they asking Germany to help fund these? Why aren't they asking Ireland? Companies that have large pharmaceutical presence in those countries.
Why is
Teva Pharmaceutical is in Ireland.
Why isn't every captured illegal immigrant being stuck? How about the other day, and I want to say it was Pfizer, I'm fairly sure it was. It was either Pfizer or Moderna. It was Pfizer, I'm almost positive, that their CEO wasn't allowed passage into another country. I want to say it was France. I could be wrong.
Israel. But here's the problem.
Because he hadn't been vaccinated.
No, here's the problem with the story, and I debunked it.
You debunked it? You're like Snoops?
Yeah, I'm Snopes, fact checker.
What'd you fact check?
This was a story that was back in early March.
He only had one shot.
It had one shot, didn't have two, had to be fully vaccinated to get into Israel. So, yeah, this is the problem with the internet and memes.
Right. That's true. You gotta double check.
Yeah.
You gotta do the discount double check.
Yeah. So there was. I mean, they were trying to say that this is why you don't want the vaccine. There's other reasons why folks don't want the vaccine. Spike protein's one of them. The fact that the VAERS website has a lot of people reporting adverse effects. So. Just a couple of reasons why people are hesitant. I think it's more the messaging that has come out from the government and others from the get-go. When our leaders who didn't want this vaccine are now telling you to get the vaccine, it was purely political.
Right.
When people see that the vaccine may not be as effective as they stated in their clinical trials at keeping people from getting it.
It was a money grab because that's how they got immunity. You have no recourse. You cannot sue them. If your left arm falls off, we're sorry. Sorry. The Canadian Defense, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other issues. David Glass, the vaccine had been out a long time. He was a little late. Yeah, and he said, I didn't want to take it from somebody who needed it. Really?
Oh, that's
the U.S. had bought how many hundred millions of doses?
Yeah, that's a cop-out.
Yeah, no, that was a cop-out. And your 2 shots are going to be I mean, come on, really? Sanctimonious much, dude?
Hang on a second, caller. We're going to tell them real quick about Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300.
Give Alan a call for all your go-to needs.
The VCS companies for all your surveillance, surround sound security needs, 2-way radios, 4-way radios, iPhone 12 Pro Max, all your AT&T needs. They've got it all. They have it all at the VCS companies, all your communication, home link, your gate at your ranch. They've got it all. Chesney Furniture, 101 years, downtown Victoria, 70 in their current location. Bobby Leon and his family, will help you with your pesky COVID. They'll help you with your furniture needs at half off and deliver it today. Go by at lunch and tell them Wade and Carter sent you. We would love for you at all of these places to tell them, hey, Wade and Carter sent me. It's a movement, and it matters to our viewers and our listeners. Veracruz today for Caldo Wednesday.
National Caldo Wednesday.
Yes, little Blake Blosky is about 8 years old, and yesterday told Mr. Lee Caballero, he said, hey, everybody knows it's National Caldo Wednesday. Lee was impressed with the Wade and Carter crowd. So there you have it. There you have it. My Aunt Betty says Israel has hospitals full of people who are fully vaccinated.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that yesterday. I think as high as 85% of those in the hospitals in Israel have been fully vaccinated.
T-Line says it seems you can still get COVID with the vaccine. It will just lessen your symptoms. After witnessing loved ones with and without vaccine, and it changed my mind. Lots of loved ones were hospitalized, and we did lose when we lost Dawn's Uncle Jimmy last week. So we have a caller. Let's see what's going on here. I didn't mean to be rude, caller. I apologize. There you are. Good morning, friend.
Good morning, Wade and Carter.
Hello? We have a little delay, so maybe they're listening on the radio. Hello? Pico? Okay, they're gone. Call back.
Call back. We have to pay the bills.
Yep.
So 175 public health experts, according to, I believe this is the Washington Post, now calling on President Biden to take urgent steps to confront the global spread of the coronavirus.
Now it's Biden's problem.
Where's the hundreds of millions of dollars we send to these countries annually? And I know we send them money and then they promise to buy some of our manufactured goods like John Deere tractors and other things to help.
Why not just supplement the John Deere guy?
I mean, instead of doing this, well, because we can't give straight. Did
you see the video I sent you yesterday of Biden?
No, I did not.
My goodness, Ash.
I saw that video.
Okay, you didn't see it. You ought to go look that up. I sent it to you on Twitter.
Well, that's why I don't check Twitter.
Well, you should, because it's some funny stuff. So Biden gets off the plane. It's a true story.
I check Reddit more often just for the comments.
He's walking in, and if you walk, say, 20 feet, the sidewalk takes a 90-degree bend, and the entrance to his office is right there. Okay? So as they're walking, there's 2 Secret Service guys, one in front and one behind the president. The guy points. The guy is walking, and as he's walking, he points to the right, which I thought was interesting that he had to show the president where to turn.
The sidewalk was?
Absolutely. But he does. And then he keeps walking. And Biden is taking those little measured steps that he does when he's looking silly, and he's got his little briefcase.
No, that's not silly. That's a walk that many recognize.
It's dementia.
Yeah.
He's got dementia, advanced dementia. And the guy walks around the azaleas and is going just around. And the other Secret Service guy stops at the corner where Biden's supposed to turn. And Biden keeps walking, following the guy walking around the azaleas. Across the lawn. He walks across the lawn. There's a Secret Service guy standing by the door, opening the door. Biden doesn't turn and go in. The other Secret Service guy stops. You see him put his hand on his ear. And then he looks over his shoulder and does everything but go, oh, gosh, Joe. He just kind of looks, and he's like.
He's gone rogue.
That's
he's gone rogue
exactly,
again.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. James Curtis says the other guy went behind the bushes to pee. I don't know. I think if I was president of the United States, I'd pee in the rose garden.
Maybe they were just clearing it.
Yeah.
Well, urea is good for the roses. It makes them bloom.
Unbelievable. James Curtis says if you get pulled over, tell Alan Miller, Wade and Carter sent you when you're in the ditch.
But when did it become, once again, the U.S. is the most god-awful country in the world.
Terrible people. But
but will you save us?
Save us all. We're the Ark.
Joint letter to senior White House officials released from these 175 folks that urge you to announce within the next 30 days an ambitious global vaccine manufacturing program is the only way to control this pandemic. But wait a second. We've got health officials in England saying that the vaccine is basically useless and is no way to control this pandemic.
But we can't do that because we've got to give them hope.
Israel's saying 85% of those in the hospitals, at least in the one hospital, all had were fully vaccinated.
Do you find it interesting that our government has never once said, hey, people, now more than ever, great time to take a walk in the evening with your loved ones, get in shape, lose 20 pounds, drink more water, get a little sunshine, exercise. Our government never says that. We've known from the beginning
that the number one comorbidity is obesity.
Government has
morbid
never
obesity, said it. And this government has never urged anyone to get in better shape and get healthier as a way to fight off the pandemic.
You might offend them if you tell them that, and they might not vote for you because all that matters is getting reelected from both parties.
But if you have a healthier population, there's no money for big pharma because it doesn't cost anything to go walk around your block except for a new pair of tennis shoes.
DJ Nelson, bingo of the day. Silly Brent. Nobody makes any money doing that.
No.
Great point, ma'am.
So they want Biden to help in Africa. My question is, you've got China running roughshod in Africa, bribing every despot down there to access all their natural resources. Why isn't China doing more to combat the virus in Africa that they unleashed on the world?
What are we going to do when we find out later that they had the cure all along? What if China has the cure all? Because you don't hear about any Chinese dying.
Oh, yes, you do. But we can't trust their numbers. Right?
And they don't care if people die. I mean, they're good.
No, they kill their own people. They don't care. They just don't care.
James Kerr said at least Michelle Obama had a program to help communities get healthier. Problem is people are lazy.
That's where we are in a society. She had a program.
Michelle's a pretty good dude.
But you can't exercise on behalf of people. That's the problem. The government couldn't go out and execute the exercise on behalf of the people they were trying to get healthier.
What if you could? I mean, I would be so good at managing my designated workout guy. I need to lose about 10 pounds in my middle. Could you pick it up a little bit? Maybe I could get Adam Sugar to work out for me. Yeah. Adam, add another 50 crunches for me, bud, every day.
If only it were that easy.
And then I wake up sore. Adam, please. I'm a little sore. Quit it.
Yeah.
Can you see the brother
James
man over there?
Says there is no easy button.
The brother man over there at the Health Flex with his little tuxedo on, his little spandex tuxedo, walking around the track. It looks like a tux.
Sublimated.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big people onesie.
There is no easy button. James Kerr is a man of dedication. He knows.
Close the show on a sad note. Tony Esposito. Tony O to hockey aficionados, passed away yesterday. Brief battle with pancreatic cancer, was 78. But I grew up watching Tony Esposito. Was the goalie that helped backstop Canada to win the Summit Series against the Soviets in 1972. That kind of brought the CCCP hockey program to the forefront. Over 400 wins. His rookie year, he had 15 shutouts. Took a team that was dead last in the NHL the year before, won 38 games, and they turned around and were first place in the regular season. I think his first year in Montreal, he won a Stanley Cup, but then ended up in Chicago. Younger brother of Flying Phil Esposito, the great Boston Bruin, New York Ranger, 70-some-odd goals and was considered the greatest goal scorer in hockey until Wayne Gretzky came along and broke his records. So he kind of flew a little bit under or in the shadow of Phil. If Phil wouldn't have been Phil, Tony Esposito would have probably had a more prominent recognition in his career amongst the hockey world. Was one of the first goalies to play that butterfly style, which is, going down to the ice to make a save with your pads instead of, trying to stand up and make the save.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It changed the game of hockey. But great goaltender. Had save percentages when he was in his prime of over 90%, which in the 70s and 80s, those weren't the norms. That's the norms now. And you look at pictures of him. Go Google a picture of Tony Esposito. Look at the equipment they're wearing. It is so small compared to what the goalies wear now. The nets have not changed. The goaltending equipment has gotten bigger, but Chicago, and he was still active with the Chicago Blackhawks. He was an ambassador for the team and had been for about the last 15 years. But Phil and Tony were some great characters and phenomenal hockey players from the Sioux. And the hockey world will miss him.
Adam Sugar says he'll work out for me. He'll squats. He'll do some squats so I can hold on to the little butt I've got left. BJ Nelson, we have no problem promoting you. This Friday, BJ Nelson will be the guest host on the Bill Posey Show. That's the show that comes on just before us, like 6:15 until 7 o'clock. And so BJ will be here. And you can go to Magic 95.9 FM, or you can get the Magic 95 FM app on your phone and listen to BJ live.
Apps are available both the App Store and on Android.
Right. James Kerr says he'll be listening, but first he's got to run 5 miles starting at 4:30.
Takes him an hour and a half to run 5 miles.
Stay tuned, and they've got to stop at Whataburger like Bill Clinton.
Got to get a Bob.
Got to stop and have something from McDonald's like Billy. Remember that skit on Saturday Night Live when he goes, okay, let's talk about the economy. Like, if this cheeseburger is Japan, and he takes a bite. Okay, you see now there's less supply, more demand. Hey. Anyway, folks, we're going to get out. Stay tuned for the Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar and Brother Gary Moses. We will be here with you tomorrow, and the Brother Man has promised me, Ash, me content.
We have to dig.
Good.
Hard for him to top last week. He had multiple. He used to write everything on a postage stamp, and then everything was on a little 3x5 card. Now the man has cue cards, and there's that lady in the